Welcome to today's explainer. Have you ever had someone just slowly inch past a boundary until you suddenly realize you're in totally weird territory? Well, today we are unpacking a truly wild family dilemma that completely blurs the lines of boundaries and trust. We've got a story from a woman caught in a rapidly escalating, super uncomfortable situation with a close family member. It's a classic case of the line moving further and further back until suddenly the line is nowhere to be seen. Which brings us to the big question we're tackling today. Is my brother-in-law going too far? It's a question our narrator is literally asking herself in real time. Because as we'll see, the behavior of her sister's husband shifts from arguably harmless to undeniably explicit. We're going to break down this entire boundary-crossing mystery piece by piece, looking strictly at the details she's laid out for us. Okay, let's dive right in and set the stage with our cast of characters. First, we've got our narrator. She's married, and this is absolutely crucial. She works in the medical field. Next, her sister, who is the wife of the man causing all the trouble. Then there's the brother-in-law himself. He's a police officer. And finally, the narrator's own husband, who really steps in as the ultimate voice of reason when things start getting way too close for comfort. To really grasp how crazy this gets, we gotta look at the whole frog in boiling water escalation going on here. In the past, the brother-in-law's interactions were, easily rationalized. It was just medical advice, maybe some innocent joking, keeping things pretty light even if he overshared a tiny bit. But fast forward to the present, suddenly we are dealing with Snapchat pictures of sex stores and highly explicit conversations about romance novels. The temperature of the water has been cranked all the way up. So how exactly did he bridge the gap from polite family chat to boundary-crushing intimacy? Well, he used what we're calling the medical excuse. Because our narrator is in healthcare, it basically gave him this perfect, plausible cover to start pushing the envelope. Under the totally innocent guise of getting health advice, he started slipping in questions that were actually just an excuse to get inappropriately intimate. And what kind of early questions are we talking about? He wasn't asking about a sprained ankle or seasonal allergies. Nope. He was asking directly about sex drive. He was asking if certain medications might affect the size of his penis. He was even sharing intimate details about his sex life with the narrator's sister. At first, she kind of just brushed it off. She figured, oh, he's just being funny or it's just innocent oversharing. But the groundwork was absolutely being laid. Then we hit the real turning point. The facade of medical curiosity just completely drops. Recently, he sent her a message on Snapchat featuring a picture of a literal adult sex store. And he tacks on a joke asking if she has any recommendations for a Mother's Day present. Let that sink in for a second. He's asking his wife's sister for sex toy recommendations for Mother's Day. Yeah, the boundary isn't just crossed here, it's obliterated. And it just snowballs from there. Right after that snap, he launches into this rapid-fire string of messages about a romance audiobook that both the narrator and her sister had read. Minute 1, he brings the book up. Minute 3, he's asking her which characters she thinks are gonna bang. By minute 5, out of nowhere, he's making comments about taking care of yourself on the job. And by minute 8, he abruptly pivots right back to his own anatomy, bringing up his new meds and penis shrinkage. It is a masterclass in how fast a conversation can derail when someone is determined to bulldoze through every social norm. We really need to pause on that minute 5 comment because the absurdity is just off the charts. He complained that the audiobook was bad to listen to while working because it's frowned upon to take care of yourself on the job. Remember our cast of characters? He is a police officer. So he's casually bringing his job as a cop into this highly explicit text thread, basically implying he wants to masturbate while on duty, but can't. The inappropriateness is honestly staggering. And then he drops this incredibly glaring comment. He actually complained to her that he hated how the books didn't mention exactly where the men finished during intimacy. Right? This isn't a joke about a store anymore, and it is absolutely not medical advice. It is a direct, completely unsolicited invitation to discuss explicit sexual mechanics with his sister-in-law. And of course, he immediately followed that up with another comment about his medication not causing penis shrinkage. Just a relentless barrage. So how does this chaotic stream of messages actually end? Well, not because he realized he went way too far, and definitely not with an apology. It only stopped because of an abrupt interruption. The narrator just had to leave to go to dinner. That's it. A totally mundane, everyday task is literally the only thing that hit the brakes on this totally unhinged conversation. Thankfully, she is not dealing with this entirely alone. She tells her husband about all of this so-called sex advice. Enter the husband, the reality check. Because sometimes when you're the frog in that boiling water, you really need someone on the outside to pull you out and say, hey, this is burning. Her husband provided that immediate outside perspective, instantly validating her growing discomfort. Her husband gave a super logical breakdown of why this is definitely not innocent joking anymore. He pointed out two huge red flags. First, he just stated the obvious. It is incredibly weird that your brother-in-law is talking to you about this stuff at all, period. But second, he pointed out the context. It's especially weird that he's messaging you this much while he's away in a completely different state for work. And that brings us to a crucial piece of the puzzle. It all comes down to this massive number, 1,000. Yeah, he was messaging all of these highly explicit comments while he was 1,000 miles away from his wife. Let's connect the dots here. He's isolated, he's geographically separated from his spouse, the narrator's sister, and he's choosing to spend that time relentlessly pushing sexual boundaries with his sister-in-law. The sheer distance involved just totally amplifies how suspicious, almost secretive, and deeply intimate